Welcome to the Blue Juju Podcast, and once again it's brought to you by Jonas Macadocious and
Ron,
the Freight Train Hodgent.
Yeah.
How you doing this afternoon, sir?
I'm doing great.
Excellent, excellent. So, if you're not familiar with the podcast, this is what we do. We scour the interwebs and find all the weird and obscene news, and we bring it right here for your entertainment. That way you don't have to scour the internet. So we know you don't want to do that.
That's right. Scouring the internet, hey, takes a lot of time.
That's right. But what we do is we break it up into a few different sections. And our first section of the day just happens to be called Headlines.
Headlines we deem important.
All right. Well, as we say, we deem it important, and this headline is interesting. I find it interesting in a couple different ways. A couple in New York City, I guess, is where it is. They glue 390,000 pennies to their floor.
Very nice.
Yeah. First of all, I'm going to say, what a waste of $390. And it's probably not even, since it's New York, it's not even their apartment. So
it's probably just laying around anyway, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, I mean, how are you going to shine all them pennies up, too? I guess they shined them up and then stuck them on the floor, which is another story in itself. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's all shiny and all.
I guess it would be cheaper than tile. Think about it that way. And also, if you walk into a bank and you give them, or you walk into any other like a check cashing place, they're gonna be like, "Fuck off."
I ain't taking your pennies.
So,
well, they just better be careful. You know, I mean, them crackheads they'll be breaking into their apartment and ripping up their floor.
So we're confirming that New York City is just full of crackheads. All right.
Crackheads and cranks, apparently.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know what you're implying, sir. I'm pretty offended by it, though.
What? That you're from? Yeah, I didn't know you were from New York City.
I'm not. But
yeah.
Was that did they didn't give any reason why they were doing such thing, or is just they didn't?
It's just fashion. They just they just you know, probably were sitting around and saying, "Whoa, what are we gonna do now? Yeah, let's make the place look really cool. What can we do that nobody else has done?" So now you're gonna have. What they need to do is make more money so they can glue dollar bills to the floor, and that would probably be easier.
Yeah, pennies will last longer, though, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, put some quarters down there, then you'd have some real money.
Yeah, well, they're probably doing it for the aesthetics, but I don't know. Tough call. That's just people do weird shit, including this guy right here. U.S. employee decides to outsource his job to China. Did you hear about this? Okay. Well, this gentleman, he basically he was a software developer, and he was making a little over $100,000 a year, doing these ventures for his company, and he decided, hey, why work hard when I can outsource for a fifth of my wage? I can outsource the whole job to another company, and they'll do it, and they'll still pay. This company will pay me for it. So, basically, he just he routed the system there, and this company he was working for, they allowed him to work from home at a certain point because they were moving into telecommunications, and so they said they allowed a lot of their employees to do this. Well, apparently they had some kind of security breach, and so when they were investigating the security breach, then they realized that. They thought that the malware, they thought that the basically the video calls that were going over to China, they thought that there was some kind of malware that was put on his company computer.
They were being hacked or something, right?
Well, yeah, but the thing was, it wasn't the malware, it was him communicating with them, telling them how to do the job. You know,
what he wanted.
Yeah, and see, the only reason is it was illegal. But see, when they found this out, the guy doesn't even work for him anymore. So I'm not really sure. You know,
really?
Yeah, I'm not.
Man.
I'm not really sure. You know, there's no punishment, I guess. You know, because he's already kind of made off with it, but except for maybe if he signed any kind of
confidentiality,
agreement or something of that nature. But
yeah,
you know, this guy literally beat the system.
yeah, he beat it for a while. I don't know whether he was just being shrewd and one step ahead because he considered, hey, that's where my job is probably going to go anyway. They're going to send it to India, so I'll do them one better. I'll go to China and make a little cash off the deal.
Well, the thing is, he just sat at his house. He didn't even have
Yeah.
to. He just outsourced the job that he was doing to a private company.
Yeah.
But the thing is, apparently, this guy has to be pretty intelligent because they don't reference his name at all in the article that I read from it, and so he got away with it. And
For
also,
a while, yeah.
and also he suffered no punishment for for it. So,
well, I'm sure that
apparently this guy's
lost.
doing very well. He says the article, the full thing I was reading, he was just one of these jobs he was making $100,000 off of. And it said he had several of these jobs set up.
Oh, with China.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa,
He was working for several different companies, outsourcing
all of it to China.
Well, yeah, all of their work that they. Well, apparently he went through the the schooling and everything like that to get hired on.
Right, he knows how to do it. Right?
Yeah, but he just outsourced it, and then basically had himself hired on several different companies. And since he wasn't weighed down with the payload.
Yeah.
Of the workload, that he had all the time in the world to go apply for different jobs and get the jobs and then outsource them.
Well, that's pretty clever. Yeah,
that's pretty clever because he didn't have to do any of the work. So there's he has all the time in the world. He's just sitting around now. So
right. Well, let's hope that I'm not gonna condemn him because the higher ups would probably do it in a minute if they could figure out how to do it without incurring security breaches and
right.
And so
that's the one thing I think he might get in trouble for if he has any kind of because for God's sakes I worked at a resort and they had me sign a likeness thing because they have basically the news and stuff like that will come and they had me sign a release for any kind of my likeness rights. So if anything was being shot, and I couldn't talk to reporters if there was any, because it was a private club.
Right.
So if any reporters were to come up and ask me any questions about anything,
I
can't comment. Yeah, I'm legally binded by it.
Yeah.
So, and that was just a resort. I was a bartender, for God's sake. So.
Right. So you wonder what.
Software developers, I would think, would have more of a perhaps stringent
contract.
Well, especially since they're dealing with sensitive software, which is potentially a patent and all that good stuff.
Right. So now what they'll do is they'll put that in the clause, and you can't outsource this without telling us.
That's right. Well, but good for him. He beat the system. I'm pretty, good for him.
Yeah. Well,
he'll probably be going to jail sometime very soon. But
maybe not.
Who knows?
I mean, he may have made enough that he's going to retire, or he can hire some good lawyers. I don't know his situation.
Nor do I.
Nor how long he worked before he got caught. Yeah. Or how long his career is. Yeah. Maybe he's got a ton of loot stashed away in the bank. Who knows?
Tough call, but
So, okay. Well, I got another one. Let's see what we got here. The screen will come up. Oh yeah, remember the python hunt in South Florida?
Yeah, it's the ongoing hunt.
The ongoing hunt.
And the Cayman crocodile, I believe, is giving us some trouble down there as well.
Yeah. We got to have a battle royale. Well, one of the problems.
The Nile crocodile. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah. They call it. They say that there is an American crocodile, but it got extinct or something like that, and they're trying to reintroduce it. And then I've heard things that there aren't any American crocodiles, so I'd have to be a zoologist to figure out what they're if they're lying or telling the truth about the caimans. But anyway, back to the pythons. 800 people signed up for this hunt, and it's $1,500 for the harvests the most pythons, and $1,000 for the largest. Well, I don't know if I would say it's going too well, because they've only found 21 of them. And that's 800 people, or probably less than that. Okay, there's 750 people. 50 people have already dropped out. Let's just be optimistic. So there's 750 people hunting for these things, and they've only found 21. So if there's a large population, they're hiding very well, which I'm sure they are. They're snakes and
it's the Everglades. The Everglades is large, and most of it, some of it's submerged, and these guys are
gung ho.
Well, I mean, no, I'm saying the pythons.
They're tough.
Well, right. They're bred to blend in. This is what they've been doing for thousands and thousands of years. So,
yeah. You're right. I know it's probably hard to find, but they're probably hard to find. But
you know how they find them in the Amazon?
I don't know.
They walk around in these patties. They're like 3 foot.
Right.
And then they take a stick, and if they're on top of it, because they bury themselves under like
leaves,
mud. Basically, right. They'll burrow into mud, and then that's how they just kind of stay there all day. But they just
keep poking,
and that's it. I think that's. I personally wouldn't.
I'm not gonna spend my life poking for pythons. They say that you catch snapping turtles with your feet. You just go around and you feel. I think that's not a good idea.
That seemed erroneous to me as well. No, thank you, sir.
I think I'll pass on python and snapping turtle hunting and a few other things like that.
I do have another story.
All right.
It's not related to pythons though, so I had no quippy segue there. But nonetheless, this gentleman, you always hear about the cops arresting drug drivers. Well, it's time to turn the tables. This gentleman made a citizen's arrest.
All right. All right.
A South African man performed a citizen arrest on Sunday when he suspected that the police officer that he was driving behind was driving his vehicle intoxicated. Apparently, this gentleman, this happened probably in Florida. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, nonetheless.
South Africa?
No, the guy was South African. This happened in America.
Oh.
But nonetheless, he was driving behind the guy and behind this car, and he saw that he was swerving and stuff like that.
Right.
And so, but then the cop pulled himself over on the side of the road. So the man stopped and asked if he was all right, and apparently the cop's name is Constable. Maybe this isn't in America. I don't know, because they're calling him Constable here, so maybe England. Constable Nileko Mbewe, maybe it is South African. Anyway, he was 28 years old, and Mbewe allegedly continued driving recklessly for a second time. The man followed him again. The cop ended up crashing into another ongoing car.
Ooh.
And then I guess the cop pulled over once again. The gentleman then gave a citizen's arrest to this gentleman, to this cop.
Yeah, well,
saying that he could smell the alcohol on his breath. So there you go. Tables have turned.
Yeah,
people are arresting officers for drunk driving.
Well, the thing about it is, if you see a police officer in any nation, I'm sure that if the officer is engaged in illegal activities and you have the power and ability to do it, you can perform a citizen's arrest. It's just the right thing to do. So
that's our headlines, and I believe we're moving on to space news.
Aha!
Space news and technology.
I love it.
Space news
and technology.
Okay. Well, let's see. Yes. The theory of Panspermia has gotten a a definite shot in the arm. I just saw this. A group of scientists found a meteorite outside of a village in Sri Lanka. They cut the meteorite open and they took electron micro photographs of it. Mm-hmm. And in the interior of the meteorite that had just been recovered, it was a fresh meteorite, it hadn't been sitting there for any time, there were fossilized structures that very closely resemble earth diatoms, which are a form of sea life. So, as I say, extraterrestrial life has gotten a shot in the arm from this, and it's pretty conclusive evidence. You can see the if you Googled Sri Lanka and fossil diatom. The name of the paper is called Fossil Diatoms and a New Carbonaceous Meteorite. So there are different forms of meteorites, and this one has is deemed a carbonaceous, which, you know, carbon type. It has a lot of carbon in it, and apparently they conjectured that this meteorite was part of a comet. So life is probably seeded throughout the universe by comets and asteroids and meteorites. And this is a diatom like structure, which is a little bit more complicated than a bacteria, but a very simple form of life nonetheless. So if the diatom structures are easier to identify because bacterial cell walls are not as rigid as diatom structures, because the diatoms take up calcium to form what would be something of a like a primitive exoskeleton. Anyway, they have calcium deposits on the outside, and then they have cells on the inside. So the calcium deposit exoskeleton is far more durable than a cell wall from a bacteria. So that's a reason why they would last millions and millions of years, and they do, because you can dig up fossils right here. You can dig them up in Florida. There's limestone is just a composition of diatoms and other, you know, organisms that have died that have had lime in their skeletons. So yeah.
Yes, I'm going back to my old theory that people just don't know, like, exactly. They're trying to put everything into a box, but I have a feeling it's a combination of things.
Right.
You know, I have a feeling there's you know, some as far as like the thermal vents go.
Right.
I believe it's probably a combination of that, plus the water, plus the Earth having a energy source.
Right.
You know, and then also after Earth explodes or whatever, you know, then there'll be some basic living blocks that might
go out
Panspermia all over the place.
Right.
That's gonna be the title of this one, actually. Panspermia all over the place.
All right.
In your face.
In your Panspermia in your face. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I just came up with it. Seemed appropriate.
Sounds good to me. Hey.
But yeah, like I said, humans like to put everything into a box, and I believe that yes, this is probably a way that life is seeded throughout the universe. But I also think there's probably more going on there than. That's the only way it happens.
Yeah. Well, what humans like to do is they like to put things in neat compartmentalized boxes because it's easier to think about things that way.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you got to a degree, I mean, everybody's got this jumble of incoming thoughts that, you know, their synapses fire off in some manner, and then they go into this other, you know, part. But if you want to say relatively sane, then you do have some compartmentalization of the thought process, because that's how you order things throughout life.
Right. Well, yes, I understand. I understand that, but I'm just saying, you know, I don't know. I was just saying that I think there's more to it than just one theory.
Oh
That's all.
yeah. Oh, I'm totally agreeing. I'm agreeing with you. And there's probably 3 or 4 possibilities of how life started, and then there's a dozen of them on how life was influenced, either by events or by extraterrestrials or just meteorites knocking the heck out of this place.
All right.
So.
But let's see here. This little bit of space news jumped out at me.
All right.
Apparently, we're going to. Well, not. It's been suggested that we have space parks.
Space parks.
That's right. Kind of like a national reserve,
Uh-huh.
only in space. So,
Yeah.
it's a wilderness out there in
We should
outer space,
preserve.
and the robotic. Well, basically, what they're doing is one suggested would establish planetary parks for the solar system. An
Yeah.
answer to, that ties space together: sciences, explanations, ethic, law, policy, diplomacy, and communications would be put forth. The parks would be organized under a single management system with clear regulations for protection and use. But then the article goes on to say, basically, are we jumping the gun a little bit here since we haven't explored space yet?
Yeah.
And then now we're putting laws where we want to put a parks on how to act on certain moons, how to basically that's what they're saying there, and they're saying that we shouldn't be able to do certain things already when no one's out there,
Right.
And who's going to stop you? You you launch yourself into a space park.
Yeah, right.
Quote unquote. I'd be like, I'll be like, okay, well, it's gonna take you 9 months to get here. So screw you, and if you can get here, good luck.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna step on this moon rock.
I'm gonna eat these Mars critters.
I'm gonna pee in this dried up riverbed. I don't care. It's gonna happen.
I'm gonna eat the space turkeys. Where are they?
That's right. If you can catch me and bring me back,
Then right.
more power to you. But
Well,
I'll be breaking laws in outer space. I don't care.
my first thought is lawyers, and my second thought is people that have just graduated law school and now don't have a job. What do we do? Yeah. Let's make up some space rules.
Yeah. Apparently, it's just a suggestion at this point. Nothing's actually happened, but
I agree with you.
it's
Stupid as hell.
Yeah, but it's supposed to prevent the exploitations of bodies in our solar system.
Yeah. Right. And you're gonna.
And who's gonna enforce that?
Right. Who's gonna enforce it? So that means you got to create an agency. That means funding.
If you ever come back to Earth, we're gonna find you.
Right. Right. I think I'm gonna get in charge of one of those parts of that agency, and then I'm gonna outsource it to China.
That's it. That's it.
I'll get some Chinese guys that'll run after you. Oh, you landed on the moon. Oh.
That's racist and a little offensive. Not a lie.
But I like eating space turkeys. Well, you give the Chinese jobs and the lawyers jobs. I mean, that's two needy sets of humans. I mean, I'm thinking we're doing the world a favor.
All right. That's all I got. Do you have another one? Or?
Oh yeah.
I have one more as well, but I was gonna let you go.
Okay. Well, you can, depending on the time constraints, if you want to do 3, I mean, hey, we do what we want.
I've
here.
only done one.
Oh, you've only done one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not. I lost my count there. Okay. On the continuing theme of life in space and space parks, maybe they should just make Mars a space park, and just tell them to.
That's what brought this into play. Because they want to know, they want a certain, since we're thinking about sending people to Mars, they want a certain kind of regulation on what can be disturbed and what shouldn't be disturbed. Because there's these companies like SpaceX and stuff like that, they're going to be going out there, and their base would still be on Earth. So I guess they technically could find them.
Oh yeah. Well, You know, it sounds, you know, yes, lawyers, yes.
Like, you know, they don't have to share that kind of information with them. Though. Like, so where's your astronauts? Like, on Mars somewhere.
We want
Probably in the legal part.
Yeah, nothing invasive here about your activities, but can we have all your data? We need to check your data.
Well, that's not gonna happen anyway. But that's why, you know, this is why the space parks were, you know, were,
the meme, the idea,
but I kind of understand
bullshit.
Well, right? I kind of understand it. Well, I do. I kind of understand it because we're actually learning from our past mistakes, like of being an invasive species. Because the last time we invaded North America, obviously we destroyed a
culture,
a pristine environment. And then so if we would have had regulations in place before we came over here, then maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Right, but in Mars, I'm sure that, you know, there's going to be a group of scientists and people and individuals, and I can kind of understand their point of view that if there is any life there, we need to preserve it. But how are we going to find it unless we go there and look for it? You know. So, I mean, it's a catch-22. If that's the case, if you're so worried about it, then just recall all your vehicles, recall all your research, and say Mars should be left pristine and unsullied by the presence of man and just go away. You know, that's the thing. But what they're saying is...
I think you're missing the point here.
Okay, what's your point?
The point is that people have learned from their mistakes, and they're trying to... But even though it sounds silly to put regulations on it. If we would have had regulations prior to, people would have known a little bit what not to do.
In 1492, the lawyer sailed the ocean blue.
Right. Well, it's really no different than that voyage because, you know, we really didn't know what the hell was going on over here. Well, I mean, to a certain extent, you know, I don't buy into that BS that everybody thought the Earth was, you know, I don't think that the people were pretty well, you know, they were more intelligent than we give them credit for, and I also believe that dogs are way more intelligent. But that's a different story.
Well, yeah. Well, I
won't
agree.
get into that.
Okay, well,
that's another podcast.
That's a side issue, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I agree that you know that medieval people were far more intelligent than we give credit for. The ancients were far more intelligent. Early man was far more intelligent, but they have the ability to rationalize. Everybody has the ability to rationalize their actions, you know. Even mass murderers have the ability to to rationalize their actions. I'm sure that if you talk to Stalin, he was a very, you know, you would consider him a rational person. But, you know, if you really looked at Stalin, then you would know that he was a monster. So
says you.
My guy Stalin. Yes, killed 20 million of his own people, but a nice guy to have to come to dinner.
Right. He's just trying to eliminate everybody that wasn't like him.
Yeah. It's simple.
That's right. Let's share the story. We're getting off track here.
Okay. All right. Mars Park. The rover that we have, the United States of America, okay, now has on the Martian surface, has come up with what they say the most convincing evidence yet that there has been water on Mars, or is water on Mars, and it has flowed in the past. We know that there's water on the poles, at least one of the poles.
Correction, sir.
Oh.
Well, actually, I guess there was, but it was CO2. It's dry ice.
It's dry ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have a, you know, keep your beverages cold.
That's right.
Up there a long time. Well, okay, then maybe this is. This is in Mars's Gale crater.
Ah, that's where we landed.
Yeah, we landed in the Gale crater.
We did.
It figures. So, they have found rocks composed of looks like probably some carbonaceous matter. They're probably maybe like limestone, like in some way. But they have evidence that indicate that there are veins in the rock, fissures in the rock, and that deposits have formed in these rocks. So, and that they have large grains within the rocks that themselves look rounded. So these may actually be some form of sedimentary rock or limestone. Mm-hmm. So and then they have evidence of water flows on Mars. So apparently in the past, Mars
they
has
also don't know if it was water or maybe mass amounts of ammonia.
Well,
true story. They don't know. They don't know. They don't. It looks like riverbeds,
mm-hmm.
but it could be any kind of. It could be anything, you know. But that's why they have the rover up there. It has a digger. Well, what or not? They want to see how far they have to dig down. They have a drill on it, and because they have a thing that measures radiation, and so they want to know how far down, or like how much radiation is on the surface of Mars. That way, they know how far they have to dig underneath Mars to live.
Okay. All right.
Like
All
safely live, you know, without being killed by radiation. But they're also wondering how far they'll have to dig, you know, to see if there's any kind of water per se, because then they can calculate it, you know, what kind of radiation, what wouldn't be there, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Well, I thought for sure they'd already found some actual chemical water there.
Oh, maybe they have. I don't know.
Huh. But they have different things on YouTube and throughout the internet. They have a picture of the Mars rover. There's this flower-like structure there, and then there's other people that claim, and I don't know, maybe it's Photoshop, maybe it's not, that between pictures things move, so on and so forth like that. But there's lots of curiouser and curiouser features on Mars. So maybe we should just make it into a space park and go away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, you could still visit these parks. There's just rules and regulations that you have to abide by. That's all.
Okay.
Not saying I would.
Yeah.
But the regulations are there.
I'm there.
And so I would be knowingly breaking the law.
Yeah.
Because
I'm there. I'm looking for space turkeys.
And actually, if they put the regulations in, you know, I might just break them just because.
Just
because they're there.
Yeah.
Like,
rebel without a planet.
I'd be like, I didn't think about destroying this, but now that I can't, it's on.
Yeah.
But no, there's since my last story in space news and technology, times are changing, sir.
Okay.
The information age is upon us. Old times are just flying out the door.
Yeah.
Now we have a library with no books in it. That's right.
No books.
We all know the world is changing, and I am an avid book reader. I read hardcover books, and I have a collection of 1,000. I don't personally. This guy does. But he's the librarian or the person that's setting up. But it's going to have 25 laptops, 25 tablets, 50 computers, 50 e-readers, and they're setting up a deal to have basically they'll have 10,000 books available on the e-readers. They will also have for people that come in with a library card, they can download any book that they want on their personal device as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is, the library of the future, sir.
Right. Yeah, and then one of the first books taken off of the e-readers, I remember it was 1984, because they said that it was sold without the proper copyright authority. So they went in to people's e-readers and removed the book. Yeah.
Oh, they don't have to go into the e-reader. They just go to the server that is hosting it, and then
they also went to people's e-readers.
Whoa! Don't yell on the microphone.
They also went to people's e-readers and took the book off their e-readers after
who was they? Amazon did it?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, the thing is, if you can't, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because this is the library of the future. We're not talking about any kind of conspiracy. What we're talking about is the wave of the future, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can say that it's. You can say that it's.
You should do this in the old man voice. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Go ahead. I'm waiting
Well,
for it.
Sonny.
There you go.
I'm gonna let you know.
Now you sound legit. Anyway, that's my story. We are moving on to our next category. And let's see here. I believe it's strangest state in the union.
That it is.
And now, the strangest state in the Union.
Okay. Well, it's Indiana.
Ah,
Yeah.
go for it.
Well, in northern Indiana, there was this fellow. Apparently, he was a Mitt Romney supporter. I don't know. Maybe he was just nonpartisan, but he got paid $15,000 by a Republican supporter to have a Mitt Romney tattoo on his face.
Yes, I heard about this.
Yeah, yeah. So, and the deal was you wear it on your face at least until the end of the election process, at least until the end where they, whoever got elected. And so he did, and now he's having second thoughts, and wants to have it removed. I don't know why. I just can't figure it out. I mean,
At the story, I heard this a couple of weeks ago, but when I heard the story, he had already had it removed.
Oh, did
he basically said that he was like, I ain't gonna have it removed, and then he was like, I'm having this thing taken off my face is what's going on. But I believe he earned some
notoriety,
some dividends for said tattoo.
Yeah, he did. At least $15,000.
I might do it too.
For $15,000, I don't think so.
You can have it removed. It would depend on how much it costs to have it removed. Because then, or if
It's
if
at least
that
a
was
couple thou.
if that was calculated into the deal, I'd be like, okay, yeah, let's do this.
But he was upset that the Romney campaign snubbed him and never put him on TV and never contacted him and never said anything about the fact that
Because he's an idiot. he already had enough bad press.
You put the tattoo.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, but I don't see him being any different than Sarah Palin. They're they both have the same kind of mindset going on.
Well,
But
yeah.
Joe Blow, that whole thing they had going on there, because that guy was a total idiot. He might have been Joe whatever, but Joe Plumber Joe, whatever the fuck his name was. But he was, it doesn't prove you're down to earth. It just, proves it.
You're a plumber.
Yeah. Whatever.
I'm a plumber and I know stuff.
Yeah, but what so you said an Indiana man, huh?
Yeah, this just says it doesn't. Oh, wait a second. Earl Hartsburg of Michigan City, Indiana. Earl Hartsburg, you're an idiot.
All right. So that's your strangest state in the union.
Yeah, well, Earl
wasn't very good. You really. I think it was because of your avid disdain for Romney. You let your emotions run away with the story when the story wasn't that good, but the emotions were there, and you were thinking everyone would probably agree with me, but I'm wavering.
No, if they gave me enough money, I'd put the tattoo on, but $15,000 is not nearly enough.
No, what I'm saying is, I think that stranger things have happened.
Oh no.
That's right.
No, this is strange beyond belief.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with Detroit, Michigan.
Oh,
That's right.
Battlefield Earth.
No. There's a gentleman. His dad died.
Okay.
I know, and so he was a very religious person, and they had the funeral and everything, and then the body was missing. So it came up missing. They hadn't put it in the ground yet, but apparently the people that had ran the I guess the mortuary.
Right.
They realized it when they were loading the trunk into the hearse that the coffin was quite light. And so they investigated. Obviously, the body was missing. They don't know what happened. So on a tip from an informant, they decided
Right.
to look in the basement of the son's house,
Mhm.
where he was keeping his dead father, in a freezer.
Oh.
But what I'd say he was deeply religious
Okay.
is
Why?
because
Yeah.
he thought that if he got the news says the son was religious and took the body, hoping to miraculously resurrect his father, Clint Bright, that was 93 years old when he had died. Now, this he did get charged
Right.
for, let's see here, and he was held on a $75,000 bond. He this charge it carries up almost 10 years in jail, and it's not like stealing a body or something like that. It's I'm looking for it right now. It's disinterment of a body is what the charge is called.
Well,
and, yeah, I don't know really
From
what's going on there.
from a legal point of view, they're wrong because he wasn't interred. He was not buried. So
Well, that's what he's getting charged with.
Wow.
So apparently that carries more weight in Detroit, Michigan, than any other charge, and yeah, quite strange. But that's where religion gets you. You and
your reasoning is impeccable. Well, it's I am conflicted here in a number of ways because obviously, okay, from what the story tells me, what you've told me in the story, the guy was, for one, he's not too bright.
No, his name was. It doesn't say anything about his intelligence, but it does say Vincent Bright was 48, whom police say was keeping his father in the body of his basement freezer at his home, and is charged with disinterment of a body, and was arranged by let's see here. Yeah, Wayne County Jail he was put in. But let's see here. But it doesn't say anything about his brightness or anything of that.
Right.
Sort.
Well, when somebody dies that you love, you're distraught. First of all, I can understand that, and
He had siblings.
he had siblings.
Yes, and they were not nearly as distraught as him, apparently.
Well, he probably looked after his father. He was probably he was
Oh,
probably.
you're assuming, sir.
I am assuming.
Yeah, I don't know. I can do some digging.
You can
and
do
I
some
bet you he
digging?
didn't. I bet you this 93-year-old man was in a facility.
Mm.
But nonetheless, that's neither here nor there because this is the strangest state in the union.
Oh, I have to admit you on this one.
Yeah.
Finally, you've won one.
What can I say? It's a gift.
It's a gift. But he, I mean, I feel sorry for the guy. I'm not saying that he did the right thing. I think he was totally distraught and was not dealing with the world in a sensible manner. However,
he believed his religion, his faith. He thought his faith was going to bring his father back for him.
I would say, in what
deeply religious.
In what faith that this man would be connected with, it says that you can resurrect the dead.
They didn't attach him to any religious. He just said he was a deeply religious man. They didn't say he was attached. They didn't say he was Catholic. They didn't say anything. He just said deeply religious, and he felt that God was going to bring this gentleman back, his father. But that's where hope gets you.
You just squash that hope out now.
That's right. Because you'll end up with a dead man in your freezer.
Dead man in the freezer syndrome.
Waiting on hope to come bring him back to life, and it's not going to happen.
Well,
but I don't. What goes through people's heads? I don't know. I mean, it's obvious that no one, except for Jesus, has returned from the dead successfully.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's questionable. It's suspect. But
well, there's literal and there's metaphorical. Yeah. And Christ was the only one that did do both. All right.
Prove it.
You can disprove it. Try to disprove it too, but yeah, it's a matter of faith is basically what it boils down to.
See where faith got him?
Yeah.
Got him locked up for 10 years with the $75,000 bail.
Not yet. He's not locked up yet.
He hasn't been sentenced, but the charge carries 10 years. That's what it says. A maximum of 10 years.
Well, I don't know what the prosecutor on this one would be thinking. What he would go after, or the amount that he would go after. I think it would.
Well, you got to make an example out of these crazies. So I would throw the book at him. I say all the guilt that he's feeling after the death of his father, he should really pile it on and destroy the next 10 years of his life.
Right. Somebody that's obviously has mental issues, you should just lock their asses up with hardened criminals. And he wasn't doing it out of a misplaced sense of love at all. He's just a fucktard, right?
We don't deal with emotions here. This is the law. All right. We're not humans. We're robots.
Yeah, robotic law interpreting robots.
That's right.
Well, some people have that ability.
Nah, I'm not saying that. I was getting at that totally off point. But I guess we'll move on to our next one, which would be Conspiracy Corner.
Oh yeah,
that's right. We do have a Conspiracy Corner mascot.
I'm thinking
Hitler baby.
You might want to change it. I got him right here.
No need.
Okay, Hitler baby.
Hitler baby
cute.
Is beautiful.
He's cuter. Hitler baby is cuter than Keanu Reeves.
That's correct.
Yeah. Very correct. You can look at this a couple different ways. I consider that everything I look at has some bit of information in it, even if it's the bit of information that you just should disregard. Aha. But Keanu Reeves has a meme that has been built around him now, and it all centers on a photograph that has been promoted and propagated throughout the internet. I didn't know about it until I looked, was searching for conspiracy, and I just typed in conspiracy. He came up next. So I had to see what the Keanu Reeves conspiracy was, and actually there's a website called Conspiracy Keanu, and
makes sense.
Yeah, perfect sense. Perfect sense, and you can say that this is total bullshit, like all conspiracies are.
I will. No, I don't say all of them, but I'm not so cautious as you. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah.
I'm using the nice word.
Yeah, you're using the word cautious with me, right? I see how you play.
Continue on, sir.
Yeah. Yes, I am cautious. This is true in some ways. So this photograph was from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and it's a picture of Keanu who in the scene is being chased by medieval knights, and he has the young Keanu, the very young Keanu here, has this look of stupidity and horror at the same time. So it's a classic photograph, and they've taken it, they run with it. And the Keanu conspiracy meme is that you take the photograph and then you put the conspiracy in letters on the photograph. And the first one on the site at this point is, what if Stephen Hawking is actually brain dead and his computer became self-aware?
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Right. Yeah. So, he could be, the computer could be talking instead of him. And anyway, they got a whole site dedicated to those pictures, and it's spread throughout the internet. Apparently, at some point, I guess it generated enough energy that now it comes up very
conspiracy.
Yeah,
when you type in conspiracy.
Yeah, when you type in conspiracy, the Keanu will come up, and I think that's the conspiracy, is to belittle all conspiracies, even the ones that have merit. Right? There's the conspiracy.
So is that what we're getting at? It's a conspiracy of a conspiracy. It's a dream within a dream. It's Inception, if you will. I saw that movie.
Did you? I need to see it. I've never seen it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Something very interesting. I'm not really sure if it's a conspiracy because I'm not willing to test it out. but it is testable. But nonetheless, the 809 area code.
809.
Have you heard of this conspiracy?
No, this is a new one on me. I mean.
Okay, well, follow me if you
Okay.
dare. Basically, this is hit around saying that don't ever respond to emails or phone calls of a webpage that tells you to call an area code that has an 809 attached to it.
It's long distance, right?
You could say that. It's a scam spreading quickly. But basically what it does is there's a place in Wales that is attributed to this area code. Basically, it's a small town, but for some reason, I guess, let's see here. The 809 area code is located in British Virgin Islands, and it can be used to as a pay-per-call number, similar to a 900 number. Basically, what happens if you call any 809 area code, it goes to the same phone, puts on a message, a long message, and it will charge you $2,425 per minute.
Nice.
That's the conspiracy, but I'm not testing it out.
Well, just yeah. Well, you could you could do a little bit more research. I've heard of such things before that that there are scams like that, and
well, it says if you're a victim of this scam, both your local phone company and your long distance provider will be no help to you, forcing you to deal with the foreign company directly. That is impossible. Apparently, the company doesn't exist or something.
Well, I'm going to say that they probably exist to the point that they collect money, and
well, whoever your provider is,
right?
Like Verizon, they would collect the $2,000.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And I would tell Verizon to go fuck themselves.
And there goes your credit, sir. If you had a cell phone.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, me being a Luddite or Luddite that I am, I don't have one of them. Well, think of those modern fangled devices, Sonny. I use tin cans and string.
Yeah. But there you go, 809 conspiracy. And moving on to, is it speculative or apodictic?
Right.
Is it
speculative
or
apodictic?
Okay.
If you're not familiar with our segment, basically what we do is we give you a question from last week, which was...
Is psychoanalysis... No, I made a statement, actually. Psychoanalysis is useless.
Yes.
Okay, well...
I will tell you if it's true or false. Continue, sir.
Well, I kind of made this as a trick question because, from my point of view, it is both slightly useful and useless at the same time. It's basically useless for the average person because you can't afford it. So if you can't afford it, it's like a moon vacation. If you can't get there, what's the point of investigating it? But it's useful for the psychoanalysis, the psychiatrists, because they make lots and lots of money. It's also useful if you're super rich and consider that you are above everybody else, and you
would call psychiatrists middle class, I would say.
You'd call them middle class?
I would have to say, they're not making millions. They're probably, I would say $80,000 probably would be one of the, would be up there.
Well,
so I wouldn't consider that lots and lots of money. I would say that almost average.
Richies.
And if we're talking about tax brackets, you don't even have to hit $400,000 until you're considered the middle class.
Well, I would say, it depends. If you're going to look at their incomes and how much they charge, I'm sure that there are
well, you just said they made lots and lots of money, so I don't know. I was going to interject, but continue.
I'm sure that they do it for more than $30 an hour.
Well, I'm just saying per year. I don't think that they, typically make probably more than $100,000 a year in most cases.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But in any event, most people can't afford them. I don't even think you can afford it very well if you are in the middle class. Maybe, but it's you got to remember that psychoanalysis is a theory. It was theorized by Freud, and for a while it wasn't a very popular theory until he included his elite buddies in on the theory and gave them reasons for why they were superior to the unwashed masses with less money. So I'm going to say that it has some points, but a lot of them are currently in debate about the way that they look at things. There is some validity to the idea of the subconscious, but how much that and that basically that is his, that is the basis of his theory, that the unconscious impulses, rule and shape the conscious, or at least they were far more prevalent than we would like to believe.
I think you could stereotype and analyze, but as far as like a total, analysis of a person, I don't really, maybe, because the problem I have with psychoanalysis is most people don't know who they are.
Right.
They think they do. This is the problem. A lot of people think they know exactly what their core is, and they have their beliefs. Mm-hmm. Well, I would say 99, more than that. Really just don't. They don't realize. Who they are, and so for someone else to tell them who they are is, I think absurd.
Well, I'm going to say that I consider, now that you brought it up, I'm going to consider that the modern day psychoanalysis, and to the greatest degree, is just like in the 1800s. If you went to go to see a tea reader, and the tea reader would look at you and they would, kind of consider, some things about you, and then maybe give you some pertinent information that perhaps they knew or whatever, but most of them were fakes and frauds. Maybe the true psychics are, I'll say this, true psychics are far and thin in between, the ones that are fake. And
we're talking about psychoanalysis, right?
Yeah, I was getting there.
All right, I was just making sure, because I didn't say anything about psychics.
Right. Well, I'm just comparing the two, because
right.
They're both in this territory where they're trying to analyze things that they can't see, right. Or they're quantifying the things that can't be quantified under normal circumstances. The psychoanalyst, the psychiatrist takes things from your past and say, okay, well, this is why you're having problems, and this is why you deal with this thing in this way, and this is da 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 da, and the psychic would say, okay, I see in your past these things, and these spirits over here are causing you to react in this way. So I think they both have similar techniques in a lot of ways. So, and maybe they studied each other, or maybe Freud studied leaving the tea in the bottom of the bowl. Yes. Okay. All right. Anyway, now that we've trashed psychics
Freud in
and
general,
Freud
genius.
Well, somebody's only, it's like art. You can only be a genius as other people recognize you as a genius. If you go around and constantly say you are,
I'm a genius. Just tell people and they'll believe it enough.
Well, the trick is making them believe that you are. It's not.
It's all about deception.
It's a matter of art.
That's right. Do a couple history reports, and bam, I'm a genius.
Create a couple of inventions, bam.
Yeah. Easy peasy. What is our speculative or apodictic for this week?
All right. The speculative or apodictic, the caffeine coffee is about the only thing in your household that will awaken you and rouse the mental abilities that you have slumbering in the morning. Okay. I mean, it's
pretty wide open. Because, people could have a lot of stuff in their house.
Well, I didn't think about it like that. Let's see. I'm just common, edible, legal substances.
All right.
How's that?
You have to tune in next time to find out the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You can see how naive I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm off there in tea reading land.
There you go. But I believe that is going to bring our lovely podcast to a close, and literally it just ticked at 1 hour. So that was good.
We're good.
But
boom.
so we're running over a little bit, but we'll do our outro. Was there anything that you would like to add that you would like to tell our non-viewing audience?
Gordon, I gave you a T-shirt.
Talking to you, Gordon. Giving you a
Talking to
shout out.
Giving you a shout out. I'm calling you up. I'm making you view. I'm coming out to Colorado and gluing your eyes to the screen.
It's not just because pot's legal either. We're coming out there.
Right, your forehead. I'm super gluing it to the screen.
All right. But I don't have anything to say except for what a lovely podcast, and oh, what a lovely tea party. But
that it was. Yeah.
We do this every week, and we will be back next week to answer the
Whether
foreboding question of the coffee mystery.
Okay.
And we will
whether you like it or not.
There it is. And you can always head over to bluejuju.com, follow us on Twitter, that kind of thing. But I guess we'll be signing out. I'm Jonas.
I'm Ron.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.